Hello everyone, welcome to AnbuZ Hobbies. By the end of this video, you'll be able to create an application with the CURD operations. So this application is going to be on Angular, which uses the Express server to store the data on MongoDB. This is a main stack application, so you'll be able to save the data and you will be able to edit the data and you will be able to delete. But that's all we are going to see in this complete video. I have created the application from the scratch, the Express server, the Express backend, and the Angular UI. So everything is done from the scratch. So do stick around till the end. We will be getting the complete grasp of the main stack application. Let's jump into the video. We will be creating an Angular UI that will interact with Express. Express internal will interact with MongoDB to store and retrieve the data. And Angular and Express will be running on the Node environment. So that's why it is called as a main stack. Let's open a command prompt. Hope if you have Node installed. So if you don't have Node installed, please go ahead and download and install the latest version of Node for your machine. It is very simple process to install it. -v should give you the version. So if you have the Node installed, then let's go ahead and create the Express server first. For that, let's create a new folder. Inside this, let me create second and open VS Code from here. So in the terminal, let me say npm init. That should create a package JSON for us that will track the dependencies. So let me name this as just create presenter for all this, and the package JSON is ready. Let me create a new folder. We name it as app.js. So this is going to be our application says, which will utilize the Express. So to have Express in our application, we have to install it. So let's go ahead npm install Express and save. This will install Express into our application. Express is a module that is available for Node.js. So let me use that to create the server. Const express equals require. So this is how you will import the Express into application. So to start Express, you need to say app equals Express. So this is how you will initialize the Express application, and then we need to listen to the port. So that will listen 3000. So this is a basic server that is listening on 3000. So when it will listen, so we have to say that when it has to listen. So I'm gonna say use request response dot send hello world. So with this, our Express server is ready on port 3000. Right, so how will you run the Express server? Just type node app.js. There's an error. Okay, the port 3000 is already in use. Let me use 3030 as the port number and start the application again. The application has been started. So let me go to the browser and hit the URL 3030. So if you look at here, it is returning as the hello world. So it means the server is running and it is listening to this port. And we have not defined any routes for now. Let's create the routes now to our application. Let me create a new folder. We name this as routes, and Express provides a router, so I'm going to use the router. So let me go here, create a new file. I'll name this as contact. So we're going to create a contact route.js and we'll import the Express again. There you go, we have imported Express, and from here we're going to create a router from, so that let me say contact router equals express dot router. So this will give you the router object. Let's create a route here. Let me say contact router dot get. So the get will give you all the list of contacts. Let me say slash contact. Let me define request response, and we have a next object in here. You can now forward it to a next middleware in Express. It is going to return you response dot send. I'm just going to design the outline here. So it is going to give us contacts retrieved. Okay, so this similarly I'm going to create for post, put and delete. Post, put, delete. This is create. This is going to update. This is going to read, and this is going to delete. All are using a different HTTP verbs. So get is going to read, post is going to create, put is going to update, delete is going to delete the contact from the database. So I'm just going to contact created contact updated, contact deleted. Right, so we will connect this router by exporting this. Let's export module dot exports equals contact router. So we have exported it, so we have to import that in our app.js. What I'm going to do is I'm going to import it here. Contact router equals require dot slash routes slash contact route. So from this is going to come from this, and instead of this request and response, I'm gonna use that contact route. So the route is gonna come from here. So if you look at the route, the contact is same in all the URLs, right? So route paths, right? So you can delete it from here. Instead of having it here, you can just abstract it to the application level. So whenever you get contact, it's going to redirect to the contact router, right? Let me save this and go to Postman. So I'm in Postman. Let me try to hit the server again. Before that, we have to restart the server, right? So the changes are not yet restarted. So to do that, I'm going to use nodemon. So if you don't have nodemon, so please install it. So that will listen to the application changes, and it will restart automatically. So instead you restarting it manually. Nodemon app.js. So nodemon has started our application. So I can go to Postman now and hit the get URL. See, contacts retrieved, and let me hit post, contact created, put contact updated, and delete, contact deleted, right? So the server is running and working now. So this is the static things that we are returning. So now we have to connect it to the MongoDB, right? So to connect to the MongoDB, we will create a connection using Mongo. So that's the dependency available for Node.js. So this is the official website, so you can go ahead here. So if you look at here, this is the install command. So let me go ahead and install. So this should install Mongoose to our application. So you can see package JSON, it's getting added once this is done. So Mongoose is installed. So create a database connection, we need to include the Mongoose, and then we'll create on top of it, right? So what you'll do is you will import the Mongoose dependency. Mongoose equals require Mongoose. We'll say Mongoose dot connect, and this is going to be the DB URL. I'm going to put the URL here. As this is local, so I don't have any credentials for it. So if you have credentials, so that will be added to the URL, so you can just Google it, you will be able to get that. So this is going to return a promise. So let's say then if the connection is successful, so I'm gonna say console log or DB connection is successful. So if there is an error, catch it, and we are gonna, so once you save it, so you can see here the application is already running. So let me save this. So once you save this, it's going to connect. So you can see that the MongoDB connection is successful on the console. And let's create go to the route, and let me use that Mongoose to create a model object. Let me go ahead and create a new folder. Let me say this is models. Inside this I'll create contact. Let me create something like this. Let me copy this and paste this. So this is going to be contact schema, and we're going to have name as a string, and we can mention type as a string, and we are going to have require true, right? Similarly, I will get email and phone number. Save email and the phone number of the particular contact, right? And we have to map it to the model. So here we have created it, and now we have to create the model. So is this, and this is going to be contact, and we are going to map it to contact, and this is the schema that we have to use. Forgot to import the Mongoose, so we'll import that. So we will use that mongoose instead of creating a new instance. Mongoose.schema, and we'll create everything here, and then we also created the contact constants, and we will export it, and we'll say module. So this is going to give you the model objects through which we are going to perform the mongoose operations like find, update, delete, and everything, right? And now go to the route, import the contact model slash contact. So we got the contact reference, right? So we are going to find contact dot find. So this will return you. So we don't have any specific condition. We are just querying the complete DB on this contact collection. So it is going to return all the documents from this, right? So then this is going to return a promise. Then it is going to give us the documents. So let me name it docs, and we are going to return the docs. So let me, and it's just a JSON docs, right? So it is going to give us the JSON with all the documents. Let me also console log. Okay, let me save this. Go to Postman, get consent. So you can see there is nothing retrieved because there is nothing exist on DB, right? So let me go ahead and implement post. With post, we should be getting data in the body, right? To get the body, we need a body parser to parse the body and give you the incoming JSON body, right? So for that we need to add a couple of middlewares that are required. So those two are JSON and the URL encoded middlewares. So what those are app.use express.json, and one more is app.use express.url encoded. And this URL encoded, we are going to pass in a parameter extended false, and these two middlewares will get executed before we hit this contact endpoint. So let me save this and go to the contact route, and now we will be having request dot body, because as we added the URL encoded and JSON, so we should be having this body parsed already for us. Create the contact object. So what I would say, let me create const contact equals, I'm just gonna copy the request body and create it, request.body. This will give you the contact name, email ID, and phone number. Contact.save. So this should save it. Then I'm going to return response dot JSON record saved successfully. Once you've done this, it is already connected. The server is restarted. Let me go to post. If you see here, I have created a post body. I'm going to create a contact now, and it had thrown an error. Let me go back here. It is showing save is not a function. Yeah, because we have not referenced the contact, so we'll just contact off this guy, so then only it will refer the mongoose schema. So let me go back, so that the server should be restarted now. Let me click on save. See, now the record has been saved. Let me go to get and try to get the list of users. See here, you see the saved user, so we are able to save and retrieve. Let me implement the update. So before that, if we add the business logic at the route level, it'll be confusing, right? So for that, let me create a new folder called controller. This controller is going to hold, so this is going to be like a service. So I'm going to abstract the things whatever we are doing here instead of mentioning the response here. So let me put that here. Let me say export, and I'll assign that here. I'm going to refer this all contacts in our route. So let me import the controller const. So this is going to give you the reference of the controller. So let me copy this, and from here I'm going to access get all contacts. So similarly for post, I'll cut this, create contact equals this, right? So we'll add some more logic here. So before we move in, so let me contact create contact. So similarly, I'll create couple more endpoints, more controllers here. One is for update contact, and another is for delete contact, right? And let me reference that here. We have abstracted everything at the controller. To update, we need an ID, right? So for that, I will put the ID here. So this is how you'll refer the parameters. And to delete as well, you need an ID. So let me put that as well here. ID. Let us implement the update. So I'm planning to send the ID in the body itself, so you don't need ID here. Instead, we will send ID only for the delete. Save it and go to the controller. And to update a contact, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same. I'm gonna say contact dot update. So this update is going to take ID from request ID, and this is going to update the contact, and this was gonna give you a promise again. And this, if this returns a successful response, so there are multiple parameters, so I can show you that here. Console. So let me save this and go back to Postman. So we already have an ID here, so let me copy this and let me add this to the parameter. If you look at here, so we are passing an ID to a post put URL. Click on send. Once you do this, there's an error. Let me go ahead and see what's happening. Contact is not defined, and paste it here. The O should be on caps, and we go here, send. See, it's showing record updated successfully, but you can see here in the response which I logged. If you look at here, there's nothing modified, but there is one which is matching, meaning like the ID is matched but nothing is updated. So you can use that, send the response accordingly. So I have already done that, so I'm just going to put that here. And if the count is matching, I'm going to return user not found. If the count is, there is no matching count, then I'm going to say user not found. And if the count is matched and we have a modified count greater than 0, then it updated successfully. And if there is nothing, then I'm going to return nothing to update. Let me save this and go ahead to Postman and let me hit the same thing again. So I have not done any modification. If you send now, you should see nothing to update. Let me have some modification and let me send again. So see here, now it's saying updated successfully. So that makes sense, right? Let me go ahead and implement the delete. We are going to receive the ID from the request, so we're going to hit request.params. This is going to come from the param. So let me, this is ID contact.delete on. So we're going to pass in the ID. If it deletes successfully, we're going to say record deleted successfully, and we can console log the result to see what is returned. So I'm just returning record deleted successfully. Let me go back, and now let me see delete, and let me pass in the ID on the parameter. Copy this, pass this, and send. Record deleted successfully. Let me go ahead to the thing, and then you can see here acknowledge true, but deleted count is 0. It means that it didn't find the user, and that's why it is saying that nothing is found, because we are retrieving underscore ID from the param, which is not exist. Let me save this, because if you look at the route, we are getting as ID. That's the name of the parameter, so that is what we have to receive. So now if you send it, you can see that record is deleted. I can see that the deleted count is 1. So we can make use of the deleted count to send a proper response. I'm going to make use of that. So deleted count is 1, then I'll send deleted successfully. If it doesn't, then I'm going to say user not found. Right, that makes sense, right? And you can also include the catch block to properly send you a error response. And similarly, I'm going to update a save method, and I'm going to find it by the email address. So if the email address already exists, I'm not allowing them to save. So I'm going to say, so if we find one, then I'm going to return contact already exists, right? Then if the result, so only if the result is null, I'm going to save it, else I'm not going to save. So I'm going to return a message saying, this makes sense. Yep, this all looks good. Let me update this to contact, and this also contact, right? And this may backend successfully working, so we can test this here. We can go post, and we can delete this post, and this is saved successfully, and we can get it. Yeah, it returns, and we are also able to update and delete. All are working, the APIs are working, so backend is completely ready now. So now I'm going to create an Angular application. Let's open the terminal and create a new Angular application. Application has been created. Let me go to this folder, and let me open the VS Code on this folder, and open a terminal, and we'll start the application here. Okay, application is running here. Let me open that. Okay, application is up here. So I'm gonna install Angular material for this application. So let me open here. We can use ng add Angular material. I'm going to use this. This is an Angular 17 application. You can look at the package JSON. Then Angular 17 modules are installed, and I'm installing Angular material 17 version. So we'll go to the app folder and we'll get rid of all this. We don't need any of this. We're gonna create from scratch. Yep. So Angular material has been installed successfully. I'm going to include the component, the modules here. So Angular 17, this is going to be a standalone component, so we can just import our material module and include it here. I'm going to include from /toolbar. So I'm going to include a toolbar first, add toolbar module. So I'm going to use this, create it here and save it, and go back here. On the name of our application. So if you look at your application, you can see here I don't think the application got the material design CSS. Let me restart the application. I've stopped the application, which is running on 420. Then I'll hit this. Now we can see that it has applied the toolbar, the CSS and everything. It's working fine. And let me use mat card next to define our form. Let me go to component. Right, so this is going to look like this. Everything in a single row. I'm gonna create a card first. So for that we need the card module. Let me import that, and we are also using button, so we'll import the button module too. And let me use both of them here. Okay, let me save this, go back to the HTML and use the card. We'll see this as a mat card. Save it. Let's now look at so this also needs the button, and the form is looking better now. But if you look at the input box, that is not that good, because we have not used the mat input. So let me go ahead and implement that. Let me go back to the component and let me add the mat input module and save this. Go back to the HTML. I'll say this as a mat. Okay, but everything is coming in a single line, but we are not expecting that. We want this to be on shown under this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this screen into two parts. So one side is going to show this contact form, and another side it's going to show the cards, right? So for that let me define the flex of this page, like how much it has to accommodate. Let me go back. Let me wrap this inside a container first, and I will create one more div inside this. That's gonna have, so this is going to have a mat card which shows. Let me create a mat card and go back to the UI. So it is coming one or the other, right? So now we're going to define the container. In the first step, let's order the mat form field, because those are getting displayed. Let me so that we can view it, what's happening on the right side, right? So let me put this here. Let me type host mat form field. This is gonna have display flags and flex direction column. Let me save this. So if you look at here now, everything is one below the other. So I'm going to define the container as well. Container, and this container is also going to have the flex box design. And so display flex, and for this the flex direction is going to be row. Save it. So now you can see this had changed the things, right? So now we have put the contact form on the left, and then right side we have the results being shown. Have the flex, it's going to grow, so I'm going to say this as 1, or you can define flex grow as 1. Margin left and right, better visibility in the UI, so in UI it will look good. So now let's design the input form which we have. Also should have a display flags, right? So it should have display flags, and let me define the height as 25%, because this is not going to change, right? It's 25%. So even if you add multiple cards, it should not increase its width. And the result container also going to have display flags, and the display container is it's going to display multiple cards, correct? So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flex wrap, because it should not get stretched and then shown. And also say flex and justify content to start. So it has occupied the complete width of this. So that is fine. So now we have to include the cards here, and whenever we put something in here and then save, it should save and show the card here, right? For that we have to include the click event. For the save, I'll say click, it's gonna say on save. So I'm gonna implement that here. The method which is not implemented, go to on save, create a method called on save. So now it should resolve that error. That is fine. So now we have implemented the UI on a high level, but we have not designed the form. So let me import the reactive forms module. The form is ready, so let's tie that to the form we have here. So we'll just name it as form control, form group, and then save it. So now we have tied it. So on save, we have to call a service. So for that, let me create a service here. So it had created a contact service. So I'm going to HTTP call. So private, using this client we are gonna call. So I'll say fetch all users. So I'll implement this later. So for now we are concentrating on save. I'll say save contacts. So I'm gonna receive a body. So this is going to be in the form of contact, and we can create a model object for this contact. Let me create a model here. I have created a contact, so I'll just import that here. So we are going to call our backend service. So this return this back to the caller. So this is going to be observable. So let me save this, go back to the component. On save, we are going to let me create a constructor to inject a this dot contact service dot save contact. I'm gonna pass in the form value. So this dot contact form dot value dot subscribe, we'll say the response, and with the response I'm going to just create a new variable named message, and I'll assign this dot message equals response dot message, and I will clear the form contact form dot reset, right? So this should save the data into the DB, right? So let me go to the UI. So hope this is restarted, the application is restarted. Let me go to the UI. We have included HTTP, so that we need to include that as a provider in our component. This is a standalone component, right? The contact service form, and we also need to include the HTTP client module here, and do ng serve restart. So here now let me give my name, money. I think we need to give autofill false, and we'll at gmail.com, and phone is thing. We can save. So there is an HTTP response. Request has been blocked by cross origin request policy. So what we need to do is we have to allow this client into our backend application. So for that, let me go to the contact backend. So we need to go to the application, and we will include another middleware that will allow our application. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another middleware for all the incoming request. I'm going to allow the origin. I'm going to allow all these headers, and I'm also going to allow all these methods. And let me save this, and once the application is restarted, we should be able to go ahead and save this. We got another error. It says unknown error. Okay, so this is because we are sending underscore id in the request, so that should be empty or null. So what we can do is we can go to the controller, and whenever we send a create contact, we will just clear that. We'll say contact, save this. Okay, let me go back again. Let me save this. It has been saved successfully. You can see the response. Record has been saved successfully. So now we have the record saved. So we'll retrieve the response and show this here. Go to the service, and here I will we will create a subject here. So this is going to be this dot contacts dot next of whatever the response we are receiving, we are just putting it here. Array of contacts, let me see how that is being returned. For now, yeah, I think it's going to be array of contacts, so we can say instead of this, okay, save this. So this is going to return the contacts, and we are going to fetch it, and we are going to listen to this contacts object, contact subject. So let me create a public, and let me go to the component, and on init I'm going to subscribe to it. This will be subscribed ever, and after that this dot contact service dot fetch all contacts. And let me go here, and whenever so you can see that it is just displaying. Okay, so I did not yep, save this, and it should display the name of the contact. That is working fine with no issues. So I'm going to create, I'm just going to add some more information. So I'm going to say primary. So this is still going to call save, but I'm going to create a mode, and I'll set the mode to edit, and then I'll call on save. So I'll just declare this mode here equals, I'll just say this as is edit mode, so that will be is edit mode, and I'll just false. This is going to be a boolean, so I will just update this as is edit. So let me save this, and I'll also save this guy. Let's go back to the UI now. It's looking good. It shows the cards, and we are able to see everything, and we'll also able to edit it. I think we also have to rename this to phone. And now I'm going to make use of this edit flag, and let me call this guy. So this one has to reset the form. I'll contact form dot reset, and I will also reset the mode is edit mode equals to false. Okay, so this will reset both the mode and the form. And save is already saving the data. Now we need to call update and delete, right? So for that, let me create two more equals, and I'll say this is contact, and this is save contact, delete contact, and this is going to be put, and this is going to delete, and delete is going to get the ID, so string. I'll just going to append it to the parameter, the URL. It's gonna be right. With this, we are good with the service. Let me go to the component, and whenever we get after both of this, we are doing the same stuff. So let me put this out, but so this should happen only on the subscribe, right? So we can put it inside a method, so that's up to you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call the fetch users again, because the fetch all contacts has to be called after response, so that every time when you save it, let me go back to the UI and let me say the user. We're calling the fetch users again, right? So that's how we can see here, be able to get the cards, right? So I'm going to have add one more CSS to the cards, because if you look at here, the cards are not evenly weighted, right? So the width of the cards are different. So I'm going to add a CSS to the card. Go here, go to CSS. I think before that we need to add a CSS class to it. So I'll just go here, card, and I'm going to use this CSS class here, right here, and I'm going to have a width assigned. So width is going to be flux basis of calculate 25% minus 1 RE to the UI. Okay, now it is accommodating 4 cards. Let me add one more. You can see here now the cards are sized, exactly at the same size, but if you look at there is no space between them. So for that, let me add space between, or let me add some margins to it. Save it. That looks better comparing to the previous one. But whenever it's an edit mode, so we have to pass the value. To the form, and then from there they will save it on edit. So this method I'm gonna create here on edit. So this is gonna set this dot is edit mode equals true, and also this is going to patch the value contact form dot patch value, and I'm gonna copy it from the form, this the value. I'm gonna pass the user object here, user. So this is gonna patch the complete user data to the form, right? Let me go back here and I'll pass the user, contact, and we'll also reset the message, because the message, we will be using the message here. This message equals empty, and what I will do is I'll add a mat footer. Okay, it's working fine. The application is started, we got the response and everything is working. So let me click on edit. So you can see now the form is patched on here, and we are able to see what is here. So you can click on save, and you can see nothing is to save, and you can click on edit again. You can change the value to 6 and can save. So it is updated successfully. You can also see the response here, it has been updated successfully. So now let us implement the delete functionality. So go back here and we'll implement delete. We are just going to call the delete with the ID, and here I'm going to have contact service delete contact, and we are also going to fetch the contacts, right? So copy this and paste it here and save this. Go back to the delete method. I'm gonna call delete. There we go. Now it will pass on, and I will also add some padding to the button, or the margin to the button, so that the buttons will not overlap. Save it and go back. Yep, that's much better now. So it is able to show the cards, and let me try to delete this one. Delete. It has deleted successfully, and here let me delete this. You're able to delete and delete everything. You can add again. And save. It brings up, and you can also edit. Yep, there we go. So we have implemented successfully the CURD operation using Angular. So the UI is in Angular, and we have created Express server. It's connected to the MongoDB, and the whole main stack has been implemented with the CRUD application. Thank you for watching the video. Hope this video is helpful for you. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and to share the knowledge. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, do post in the comment. I'm ready to respond. Thank you.